So I've been using the Benks MagClap On-Go Power Bank for almost a year now, and I think this might just be one of the best iPhone accessories that I've ever purchased. Like if you're somebody who constantly struggles with battery life, let's say you're struggling to get through the full day on a charge, then this power bank from Benks might be the solution. Okay, so touching quickly on specs, this thing currently retails for about $44 in the US, and you can purchase it in three colors. So there's black, navy, and white. Now, I personally went with the white option because that was the only color available at the time. Though in hindsight, I kind of wish that I went for the black option instead, simply because I prefer the stealthier look that black gives you. I just think that white stands out a bit too much from a design perspective, and it collects a lot more dirt over time. But in terms of design, it's otherwise a very clean, minimal and compact battery pack with a liquid silicone coating that gives it a very nice rubbery texture with a good amount of grip. In fact, if you've ever used Apple's official MagSafe Battery Pack, which is now discontinued, you'll notice that this looks very similar to that, especially when you compare it to a lot of the more bulkier battery packs out there on the market. It's also MagSafe compatible, so it can magnetically snap to the back of any iPhone which supports MagSafe, so an iPhone 12 or newer, and the magnetic strength is pretty standard, especially if you've got a case slapped onto the back. And the way you activate the battery pack is by pressing and holding onto the button when it's attached to the back of your phone. And you'll see these LEDs light up on the bottom to show you how much charge is left. But even if you have an older iPhone that doesn't have MagSafe or an Android phone, this thing can still charge via ordinary Qi wireless charging at the same speed, which is 7.5 watts for both MagSafe and standard wireless charging. Or if you use the USB-C cable that comes in the box and connect this straight to your phone, then you can get charging speeds of up to 12 watts. So the charging is pretty slow, I will admit, and in my day-to-day experience, it probably takes about 2 or so hours to charge my iPhone 15 Pro Max with this, and then another 2 hours to charge the battery pack itself. And officially, this battery pack has a capacity of 5,000 milliamp hours. However, it has a rated capacity of just 3,000 milliamp hours. And so you might be thinking, like, why is the rated capacity so much lower than the official capacity? And that's because whenever you're using a battery pack, there's always going to be some element of inefficiency and heat loss to the surrounding environment. So as a consumer, you can effectively consider this to be a 3,000 milliamp hour battery pack. Now, for context, the iPhone 15 Pro Max currently has a 4,400 milliamp hour battery, and the iPhone 15 Plus and a lot of the other big iPhones are pretty similar, whilst the standard iPhone 15 Pro has a 3,300 milliamp hour battery. And so you can see that this battery pack from Benks can only really charge an iPhone 15 Pro Max to about 60% and a standard iPhone 15 Pro to about 90%. And so based on this, you might question, like, why the hell would any rational consumer go out and buy this thing when, one, it has a ridiculously low charging speed, and two, it barely has enough juice to charge a standard iPhone? And I think that the answer comes down to convenience. And this is a technique that I learned from another tech YouTuber called Technically T. And essentially, the way that the majority of us use our battery packs is we'll often wait until our phones are almost dead, at like 20% before we use the battery pack. However, by that time, your battery is often so low that, realistically speaking, any power bank is going to take ages to charge it. Whereas with the MagClap Power Bank from Benks, the way you use this, well, at least the way I recommend you use it, is let's say you're going out for the day. You don't have a backpack, you're going to be walking for most of the day. Essentially, you'd snap this battery pack onto the back of your smartphone in the morning at 9 a.m. when your phone is fully charged at, say, 80%. You'd use your phone throughout the day as you normally would, and what you'll find is that by around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the Benks battery pack will have pretty much died because it will have been charging your smartphone throughout the day. However, your phone will still be at 80% because it's been charged all day by that Benks battery pack. And so now you can use your smartphone as you normally would. And maybe by 9 or 10 p.m., once you've arrived home, your phone's battery will have finally died and reached 0%. And so you can see here that the Benks battery pack is acting more as a battery extender as opposed to a traditional charging bank. Okay, so zooming out here. If you're in the market for an actual beefy charging brick which can fully charge your phone whilst on a camping expedition over the weekend, then this Benks battery pack probably isn't going to be sufficient. However, let's say you're going on a flight and you know that you're not going to have access to a charger for over 24 hours, I would seriously recommend picking one of these up. And sure, like, yes, you could argue that there are other options that you can get from other brands like Anker, which can also charge via MagSafe. But a lot of the time, those battery packs are just so friggin' big to the point where you may as well just carry around an actual power bank. Whereas this battery pack from Benks is small enough to the point where I can legit fit it directly into my pocket, and I can effectively carry it around like a set of house keys, which makes it a very great everyday battery pack. So those were my thoughts on the Benks MagClap Battery Pack. They really do need to fix that name. But yeah, consider leaving a like to support the channel if you found this review helpful. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.